Welcome back into Great Day Washington. It's time now for our morning mix. U.S. News and World Report just released its 2023 diet rankings, and the Mediterranean style of eating was named the best overall diet for the 6th year in a row. The diet features simple plant-based cooking with a focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, and seeds. Nothing processed. You'll see it's in that list. Mediterranean food also uses mostly extra virgin olive oil instead of butter. Studies have shown that this style can reduce the risk for diabetes, high cholesterol, dementia, depression, and also breast cancer.
You hear that a lot because you're keeping you got to keep a lot of those like highly saturated fats out and everything, and sugar. But then some other mistakes I was reading about that you shouldn't make if you're on this diet, like just because you're eating this diet doesn't mean you can be a couch potato. Right. You got to think where the Mediterranean diet is huge is in warmer climates, you know, where the food is readily available, and also staying away from like high sodium foods and whatnot too. It
also sounded like this year they got rid of, they used to rank 40 different diets, and now they were down to about 24. But they added the diets like vegetarian, vegan into that Mediterranean lifestyle because it's so plant-based focused. So that's where they said the top number one, number two were all of the plant-based, not that processed food.
Well, it's good food on the Mediterranean diet too, if you like the olive oil and stuff like that. Yeah. If you like to cook. All right, remember this mess? Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been a year since this frightening scene unfolded on Interstate 95 in Northern Virginia. The massive storm crippled the highway for days. Even Virginia Senator Tim Kaine was stuck in the traffic jam. This has served as a reminder for VDOT to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Haven't you seen a difference since then in the pre-treatment, the messages that have gone out, the communication seems to be better, but I suppose after an event like that, you don't want to take any chances of not doing the right thing.
Yeah, we've seen so much in this area with just a little bit of snow or a little bit of ice and how it can just snarl everything. They are very more upfront now, like, okay, we are pre-treating everything. Just so, I think some of it obviously letting people know to be careful, but then some of it too of like, we're doing our job, so we need you to stay safe and be off as well, or know that we're doing the best we can.
Have a different plan in place this time around. Learn from what happened.
Yeah, well, we got a few months of winter to see what happens here. All right. To the Southwest Airlines problem and the repercussions after that big holiday meltdown. First, Southwest Airlines is now being sued over the whole ordeal that caused chaos at airports nationwide. In the lawsuit, a passenger claims instead of providing prompt refunds for canceled flights, Southwest offered credit towards a future flight. A federal judge in Louisiana has been asked to certify the lawsuit as a class action to include other passengers. There's no comment yet from Southwest. The U.S. Department of Transportation, of course, is investigating. And now Southwest is offering 25,000 frequent flyer points to travelers who were impacted by the meltdown. Southwest CEO wrote in a letter that the points have a value of more than $300, which will never expire and carry no blackout dates. The points will be provided to people whose flights were canceled or delayed for more than 3 hours between December 24th and January 2nd. It's interesting. I got this email. I flew last week. We were delayed on Southwest. We were delayed. We weren't canceled. I got this email. I flew on Wednesday. My husband flew Southwest on Friday, has not gotten the email, which is fine. His flight was totally fine. But that was like back to their normal operating days.
But that was within that January 2nd time
That's true.
So maybe
it was delayed, actually. He was delayed about 45 minutes or so. So maybe it's coming. I don't know.
It's a slow rollout.
But we decided, like, I shipped stuff down because I was like, I'm not checking my bag. I'm not doing this stuff. But I did have friends that got canceled when they were in Chicago, and they rented a car and drove back to Baltimore. And Southwest refunded them their rental car money and their flight stuff. So every situation's different.
Glad you talked about the baggage, because that's what I've seen so many photos of people with that lost luggage. And now it sounds like they might even have to wait longer to be reunited with their bags. As Southwest says, the majority of checked bags should be returned to customers. They say by the end of this week, Kristen. Southwest is relying on volunteer employees working alongside those that normally deal with the bags to return the lost checked bags. Southwest is working with FedEx as well as other airlines to return those bags. I did read one place said it was going to be maybe 2 weeks. I know they said the end of this week, but maybe a couple weeks. And we were following a woman who had a little tag,
in
an
there,
air tag
yeah.
on hers, and to be able to track and actually see the miscommunication between where they told her bag was versus where she knew it was astonishing.
Well, what I kind of got a little bit of hope out of all of this is how everybody was helping everybody else. They would go up to somebody's bag, find the name tag, and text them. And I know our Adam Longo did that and reunited people. So everybody was trying to help everybody else. But how is this still like, oh my gosh.
What a mess.
What a mess.
What a mess.
Whew.